Welcome to BYDFi. I'm Elisa, your guide for this Bitcoin course video series. Occasionally, we will share a new video like this one, exploring essential Bitcoin concepts. This way, you can learn about Bitcoin yourself or share these videos with friends and family who have questions. Today's topic is Bitcoin safety. Over the years, many people have lost their Bitcoins, whether through theft or scams. In this episode, we will discuss how to become a Bitcoin safety expert to prevent these issues from happening to you. Before we dive in, let's debunk a common myth that newcomers often believe. Many assume that Bitcoin's digital nature makes it vulnerable to hacking and manipulation. And with so many thefts reported, some think Bitcoin isn't safe. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Bitcoin, both as a currency and technology, has proven resilient against numerous attacks. The real weak link in Bitcoin's security is typically the users themselves. When you hear about stolen Bitcoins, it's rarely due to flaws in Bitcoin's technology, but rather a lack of caution from the owner. Claiming Bitcoin is unsafe because of theft reports is like saying cash is unsafe due to robbery headlines. With great power comes great responsibility, and if you follow the steps we will discuss today, your Bitcoins will be secure. Let's get started. If there's one crucial thing to remember about Bitcoin safety, it's this: you should be the only one who knows the private key to your Bitcoin wallet. As we covered in our last lesson, the private key, or seed phrase, is like a safe combination. Whoever holds your wallet's private key can control your Bitcoins. Using a Bitcoin wallet from a third party means both you and the provider know that private key. If that company decides to shut down your account or runs off with your Bitcoins, they can. Storing your Bitcoins with a third party is akin to depositing cash in a bank. You don't control it, the bank does. Sometimes, using a third-party wallet is necessary, whether for convenience or to buy or trade Bitcoins. That's fine, just be aware of the risks, keep minimal funds in these wallets, and verify the provider's trustworthiness before proceeding. For larger amounts, always opt for hardware wallets. They offer the most secure storage for Bitcoins today. They do cost money since they're physical devices, but the peace of mind is worth it. Next, let's discuss how to avoid losing your Bitcoins. Losing your Bitcoins refers to losing access to your private key. For instance, there's a famous case of a British man who disposed of an old hard drive that held his private key. He later realized that the key was linked to a wallet containing 7,500 Bitcoins, now irretrievably lost, over $10 million. Because the private key is crucial, make sure to back it up. You can do this by writing it down or storing it on a secure flash drive, preferably one that isn't remotely accessible. For added security, encrypt the backup. Many wallets allow encryption when exporting the private key. Some wallets provide a seed phrase of 12 or more words instead of a private key. In that case, write them down securely. Backing up your private key is vital for several reasons. If your computer is hacked, you may still send your Bitcoins to a new wallet if the hacker hasn't accessed them yet. Additionally, if your wallet is damaged or lost, you can import the private key to recover your coins. Treat your private key like a valuable item, keep it safe and secure. Now let's discuss how to prevent Bitcoin theft. Securing your online Bitcoin accounts with a strong password is essential. Here are some tips for creating a robust password. Longer passwords are better, aim for at least 8 characters. Combine lower and uppercase letters, and include non-standard characters like exclamation marks or hyphens. Avoid reusing passwords from other accounts. The strongest passwords are random strings of text, numbers, and symbols, but they can be tough to remember. That's why I recommend using a password manager to help generate and manage your passwords. Many free options are available. Another strategy for remembering strong passwords is to substitute numbers for certain letters, like this: B1TC0N. Follow these guidelines whenever you open a Bitcoin-related account, set a PIN for your wallet, or create a passphrase for file encryption. If possible, opt for an 8-digit PIN for your mobile wallet instead of the standard 4-digit option. Lastly, whenever you can, enable two-factor authentication, 2FA, for your accounts. 2FA, or two-factor authentication, confirms a user's identity through 2 distinct components. Typically, it involves something the user has and something the user knows. For example, withdrawing cash from an ATM requires both a bank card, something you have, and a PIN, something you know. In online accounts, the password is what you know, and your mobile phone receives a text message with a PIN when you log in. This way, even if a hacker discovers your password, they can't access your account without your mobile device. However, using regular text messages can be risky, as hackers may intercept them. So, it's crucial to use a dedicated 2FA app, which is far more secure. Popular options include Google Authenticator and Authy. Don't forget to consider the network you're using to access online Bitcoin services like exchanges and wallets. Always use trusted, secure networks. For instance, connect through your password-protected home or mobile network, and avoid public Wi-Fi for Bitcoin services. Ensure your router's password follows the guidelines we discussed. Public Wi-Fi networks are highly susceptible to attacks, and hackers can monitor your activity. If you must use a public network, connect via a virtual private network, VPN. VPNs protect your online presence and encrypt your data, making it challenging for hackers. Another critical security step is to confirm that the site you're connecting to uses a secure SSL connection. Look for HTTPS website prefix in the address bar, not just HTTP website prefix. Now let's address how to avoid Bitcoin scams. It seems like a new Bitcoin scam emerges daily. The most prevalent scams include phishing schemes and Ponzi schemes. Phishing emails and websites mimic legitimate sites, but their goal is to steal your information. For example, some sites appear identical to the well-known Bitcoin wallet, blockchain.info. However, upon closer inspection, the domain name reveals it's not official. Users are often directed to these sites via malicious emails or ads, thinking they're on the real site. Once they enter their username and password, the hacker intercepts the data, gaining access to their actual account and stealing their funds. So, how do you spot a phishing site? First, check the address bar to ensure the domain is spelled correctly. Next, verify that the site uses a secure SSL connection. Look for HTTPS, not just HTTP. Most phishing sites lack SSL certificates, although there can be exceptions. Phishing emails operate similarly. They seem to come from legitimate Bitcoin wallets or exchanges, but clicking on links may direct you to phishing sites or install malware. Whenever you receive an email from a Bitcoin service, check that the sender's email domain matches the service's, not a close variation. Most services you've signed up for address you by name in their emails. If you're referred to as Sir or Dear Customer, take it as a red flag. If there's a link in the email, verify it leads to the official domain before clicking. You can do this by right-clicking the link, selecting Copy Link Address, and pasting it into a text document. And finally, never open email attachments from unknown senders. Ponzi schemes are another type of scam. A Ponzi scheme is an investment fraud promising high returns with little risk. It pays earlier investors using funds from new investors, and eventually, the operator vanishes with the investor's money. Many Bitcoin Ponzi schemes appear as cloud mining sites or coin doublers, promising substantial daily returns on investments before disappearing with your funds. So how can you verify a site's legitimacy? We have created an official verification channel on BYDFi.com. In order to prevent unscrupulous people from using BitFi's name for fraud, you can enter your email address, phone number, Telegram or WhatsApp, etc. on this page to check if the source is verified and from BitFi's official source. Before we wrap up, here are a few additional tips for Bitcoin safety. Whenever sending money, remember that Bitcoin transactions are irreversible. Once you send funds, there's no insurance to recover them. Always double-check the address you're sending to for accuracy. Avoid manually typing addresses, as Bitcoin addresses are lengthy and prone to errors. Instead, copy and paste the address or scan the QR code. Also, ensure you trust the person you're sending money to. If you're unsure, consider using an escrow service both parties agree on. A popular escrow service is Bitrate, where you can select recognized figures from the Bitcoin community as arbitrators in case of disputes. For small transactions, one confirmation may suffice to release the goods. However, for larger amounts, wait for at least 6 confirmations to ensure the transaction is irreversible. That's all for today. If you've made it this far, you're now knowledgeable about Bitcoin safety. But understanding is only half the battle. It's time to put what you've learned into action, so here's a brief recap. Keep your private key secure and back it up. Store large amounts of Bitcoin only in hardware wallets. Use strong, unique passwords and enable 2FA for all online Bitcoin services. Avoid accessing Bitcoin services over public internet connections. If necessary, use a VPN. Be wary of emails and websites impersonating Bitcoin service providers. Utilize the Bitcoin scam test to detect Ponzi schemes. Remember that Bitcoin transactions are irreversible, so ensure you trust your counterpart, double-check the address before sending, and wait for at least 6 confirmations before sending any goods. If you have questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. If you enjoy the content, please hit the like button and subscribe for updates on new episodes. Thank you for joining me on the Bitcoin courses of BYDFi. I'm Elisa, and I will see you soon.